Yep, you read the title correctly. Um, Tyreek Hill got released today, along with Bradley Chubb, James Daniels, and James Daniel, NWI. Um, those are just amongst the names that have been released so far today. Salary cap wise, they have now immense saving close to $40 million in cap space, just for those releases of those four names right there. NWI, Hill, Daniels, and Chubb. Now as I stated in the intro, the Dolphin fan base is now turning their heat up on Tua to get released or to get cut or whatever. People don't understand, for one, Halfley and Sullivan both stated they're gonna look into it. They're gonna, do their homework in terms of what they're gonna do. But to release him wouldn't make a lot of sense because who do you have to replace him? Who do you currently have on the roster that's better than him at the quarterback position? So you can go with Quinn Ewers because what? 3 games. Halfley hasn't seen Quinn Ewers live. Neither does Sullivan. So what can you do with Ewers that you aren't able to do with Tua at the moment to help you win in 2026? Mind you, now they're talking about a rebuild, but they aren't rebuilding anything. If anything, they're moving like I labeled and like I've stated multiple times already in a few minutes. They're moving on from dead weight. They're moving on. Bradley Chubb is inconsistent. Tyreek Hill, the cryptic tweets I think sealed his fate because he always came out with something that was aimed at the organization or at certain players, and then it became a inequivalent distraction on the team that was not needed. His play warranted for him to stay longer, but we all saw what happened when Tua went down. His play diminished completely. Then we saw what happened with Tua those 2 seasons. He had back-to-back 1,700-yard seasons and at least 6 or 7 touchdowns. But once Tua got injured, once Tua went down, and he had other quarterbacks that was throwing to him, his numbers dropped immediately. So that goes to show you right there. Well, maybe you're not the guy that we think you are. And then he started tweeting little hints and stuff about certain things that he didn't like within the organization. And people started, as they always do, they overanalyze everything Tyreek Hill says. And it's like, well, we don't really know what he means, but we're assuming it's about Tua, it's about McDaniel, it's about the Dolphins organization. So do with that what you will. But he sealed his own fate. I didn't want to see him get cut because I figured, hey, if Tyreek come back, we got another year of him, you know, exploding on the scene again because I think he would make a comeback. But at the same time, with the way the cap was, I think they made the right decision because you can go out and get a few guys that's going to help the offense. Now there's a room about, or there was a question posed on Twitter, should they go after A.J. Brown? I don't know A.J. Brown's cap number. I have no idea what it is. But if I had to guess, I think he's getting paid 18, maybe $19 million a year now, maybe 20. I could live with that. If AJ would come in immediately and work hard and provide an immediate impact, I could live with AJ Brown replacing Tyreek Hill. He don't have Tyreek Hill speed, but what he can do is cover every area of the field, and he gives Tua or whoever Halfley decides to go with a much bigger target, a way bigger target than Tyreek Hill was. Tyreek's only 5'10". AJ Brown is 6'4". So height difference right there by itself. I think AJ Brown weighs like 240, something like that, or 235, 240. Big in weight difference. So there's an extra what 60 pounds, because Tyreek's like 5'10", 180, I think, or 190. So you give much more weight and height and ability to AJ Brown versus Tyreek. Tyreek's just pure speed. Once he gets by you, he takes an angle, he's gone. AJ can at least run every route. He can spread you out. He can also block very well, and he can run after the catch. He can break tackles. He's not injury prone. So it's a lot of upside to sign to AJ, but I don't know if they're gonna go in that direction because our GM is focused on the draft, which is his right. I think the best way to do it is pump fresh blood into the organization. But if you have a cornerstone quarterback that you've seen for 6 years, and all you gotta do is build around him, What's the problem? You have key pieces in place. I think they should let go of Waddle, but I know they're not going to do that. So we're stuck with Waddle. We have Achan. We have Ollie Gordon. I think Ollie Gordon should get the nod to be running back number two. He could be the perfect thunder and lightning to Achan. Because Jalen Wright is nice, but I mean, for some reason he hasn't picked up the way I thought he should. He only had one good game that I remember. But it's a lot that has to happen within the organization for them to completely rebuild and just cut a lot of players because Sealer's still there, Brooks, they got Fitzpatrick, um, who else? Jack Jones still there. They got a lot of guys that are still on the books that they haven't even thought about like what they're gonna do with them yet. I don't see them cutting everybody or releasing everybody. It's not gonna happen. They released these four guys for a reason. NWI was not ingratiating himself into the offense. He was just another guy. Bradley Chubbs was very inconsistent. The only time you could really think about Bradley Chubbs when we had that four horsemen like lineup, and even then he was falling into the back tier of it because Chop Robinson was making a name for himself. You had what was his name? Went to the Eagles. Um, Jalen Phillips was a tier on the other side, and you had Bradley Chubbs, who was at best an average rush defender. He would get home, but he wouldn't get the quarterback down most of the time. You know how frustrating that is? That's why we let Jalen Phillips go, because he would do the same thing. They both were not consistent players. They were not consistent threats for the passer. When you play against Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, those guys, they like to escape the pocket when necessary. But if you can get to them, bring their asses down. And that's the one thing that Bradley Chubb struggled with doing. He struggled. They want to say he had 8.5 sacks. Yeah, but I mean, most of those came against teams that, were not that good against us or whatever the case was. Or we had already built an insurmountable lead that they couldn't come back from and they unleashed the pass rush. But other than that, when we actually needed him, he didn't show up in a lot of those games. He was just on the field. So they made the right decision. They moved on from him. I think they saved $10 million. Tyreek Hill is a $22 million saving that we had. And I'm not sure about NWI. He might have been a million. And James Daniel I think he signed a 3-year, 20-something million deal. We saved majority of his contract by letting him go because the man played a series. I think it was actually 3 snaps, and after that he got injured, and then he never came back. So yeah, dead weight is what we're basically cutting off. For me, I'm pleased with the decision. I still think they're going to keep Tua. I think the fan base just got to get over it. Because what Tua is, again, is a stationary quarterback. But if you build around him the correct way, he's going to produce. He won't have to put himself in harm's way if you build that lineup the correct way. I'm not saying he need the damn wall of China. But damn it, if you sit back there and all you got to throw is 2 seconds or 1.5 or taking a whole step back and you got to throw it immediately, that's not football. We seen every other quarterback, even in the Super Bowl, Sam Darnold and Drake May was able to drop back, 3 to 5 step drops, make throws, um make observations across the field to read the defense, to decide where to go with the ball. We saw this repeatedly. So why in the hell do the fan base in Miami feel like, oh, we don't need that? We can get an athletic quarterback and we can run this thing. Run what thing? Hell, Drake May ran for his life with his offensive line. When Will Campbell got exposed on the biggest stage, Drake Drake May was in trouble. Was he not? When Will Campbell got his ass whooped on the Super Bowl stage, Drake May got destroyed. But people only want to talk about the quarterback. They only want to talk about Tua. It's bigger than just Tua Tagovailoa. It's bigger than him. To me, he could still be a phenomenal quarterback. His confidence is not shaken. It's probably a little damaged based on the fan base, which I wish they would fucking stop. Because can't none of y'all go out there on that field and do what he did. None of y'all. But you got so much mouth. Your mouth should stay running. It's amazing to me. Can't none of y'all drop back and actually survey the field on an NFL level and make a correct throw? Not one. But you're so busy with a click in your damn hand talking about where he should have went with the ball, as if you can do it. I'm fascinated by the stupidity. And then people get mad now because Tyreek just got released today, along with Bradley Chubb, and now they're going for Tua. It's like, but did you not see what Tyreek was doing? I love Reek. I wish him the best. I really do. I hope he actually goes out there and goes to a competitive team, and right away, he can get back to the form where he was. But he's also 32 years old. I'm 39. Eventually, that does fade away. Eventually, you will lose athleticism. You will lose speed. All that stuff fades away. It goes away with age. Attrition in age always renders itself. Eventually, you will slow down. It's the inevitable. The inevitable. Oh, okay, I fucked that word up. It's bound to happen. Put it that way. Bound to happen. But for people to get on Twitter and like go at the tour and talk about some, they need to let him go. And for my boy told me the fan base is pissed off. What exactly are you mad about? Are you mad because Tyree got cut? Are you mad because Bradley Chuck got released? I mean, those guys would do to make combined 30 some million dollars. And if we got the same production we got last year, where are we going? Where are we going exactly if we get the same result we got last year? We're going nowhere. And you're talking about bringing Tyreek back after he done tweeted all that stuff. He was tweeting a bunch of stuff, a bunch of BS. But people ignored it because when productivity is high, tolerance is high. So when he had that back-to-back 1,700 yard season, nobody said nothing. When he was tweeting this and doing that and doing this. Nobody said a word. But the moment his numbers dropped below 1,000 yards, and I think he had like 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Then he got hurt. After that, he was gone the rest of the season. When he started tweeting, people were highlighting that. Oh, this is what Tyreek said. Oh, this, and the third. And now he got released today before June 1st, which is fine because the team saved a lot of money. Bradley Chubbs, I knew they was gonna get rid of Bradley Chubbs because hell, his productivity and production and performance was not up to par. So he had to go. Plus, I think he's 31. They're trying to go younger. Tua is 28. I think he just turned 28. In 2 years, they're gonna let him go unless they feel like, hey, he got enough left in the tank to help us get to a Super Bowl and win it. But other than that, they're gonna let him go. It's the NFL. By the time you turn 30 years old, they're looking to replace you because you're on the opposite spectrum now. You're getting older. You can no longer physically put up the performance that you once did when you was young, which happens because all of us get old. So I mean, but for the fan base to sit there and go after one person as if he's the sole reason why you lost last season when he's not. He contributed. He had half of the contribution to why they lost last season. And I say half for speculative because the defense, the first half of the season was shit. And everybody knew it. But they still wanted to point at Tua for turning the ball over. Fair. But did the defense not contribute to that as well? They were getting scored on left and right. The Carolina Panthers, for Christ's sake, put up 30 on us. Like, let's start calling a spade a spade. The Miami Dolphins sucked last year. But all they wanted to focus on was one guy. And now people in their feelings because, again, Reek got released. Bradley Chubb is gone. James Daniel was nobody. NWI ain't shit either. So it's like, I wonder who else gonna get the boot. But now I guess they're trying to, apply pressure to management to say, well, let go of Tua when these people don't even know what's gonna happen when they do that. No matter how much of that contract the Dolphins pay off, they still gonna be left in the hole when they let him go. So it makes more sense to release him 2027 so you'll save a lot on the back end. You're not getting hit across the head. Not financially. You can actually let Tua play this season out. If he performs to your standard and you believe that he's the guy moving forward, then let him ride out the next 3 years of the contract. Then you can move on. He'll be 31 years old, a free agent, and he can walk. Me personally, I think this season he has a lot to prove. He's gonna do that. But it don't make no sense because Tyreek got released today to turn around and release him at the same damn time. Like, and Tua wasn't making no cryptic tweets. He didn't even call out teammates. He said the guys were late. He never called a single name. But people took it, oh, he throwing his teammates under the bus. He said guys, he didn't say a name. And he had to go back and apologize to those who thought that it was about them. Meanwhile, you got Reek tweeting all kind of reckless stuff. Sometimes you have players co-signing with him. And he never once apologized for it. But people are beating the hell out of Tua for what he said via the media or post game or whatever, and he has to come back immediately and issue an apology as if he damaged people's reputation. Like that man was frustrated, especially the Chargers loss. The man led you down the field against the Chargers with 42 seconds left in the game. He gave you a 2-point lead with 48 seconds or 42 seconds. I think it was 42. 42 seconds. Let that man give you a 2-point lead, and the defense give up that damn drive. On 3rd and 15, you can't bring Justin Herbert down. He connects with McConkey, and then they got a 42-yard gain to go kick the game-winning field goal, and beat Miami by 1. And Tua on the sideline just fuming. After all that hell he went through against the damn Chargers, all that hell, he still marched you. They said, we need you to go down there and close the game. He went down there and gave you a 2-point lead to technically close the game on a 4th down play. Got his touchdown in the back of the end zone to, I think it was Darren Waller at the time. Got that touchdown. And then as he walked off the field, he looks and sees his defense give up the field goal. And people blamed him. Then 5 seconds later, what can he do? What you mean, what can he do? Who gonna get past the entire defense to run down to give him a chance to throw it 70 yards? Who's gonna do that? Who's gonna stretch the field that far? Waddle can't run that damn fast like that. Tyreek would have in his heyday. But he got blamed for the 3rd pick because, what's his name? James Derwin completely jumped the damn NWI attempt and picked it off to seal the game. It's like, go down memory lane, people. Go down memory lane. They talk about all his turnovers. The Saints game, we went out there, that interception end zone was stupid as hell to Kool-Aid, but I mean, he threw it to Waddle. Waddle mistimed it, and he got off the route late. Tua threw it where he should have been, and Kool-Aid ran the route for him and picked it off. But we still beat New Orleans, even though we had to hold on for dear life because the second half the coaches gave up play calling. It's a few games you can go down the rabbit hole about. The Ravens game at home, we should have beat them. We kept marching the ball down into the red zone and couldn't get in the damn end zone. Couldn't get in the end zone. Calling stupid ass routes and plays and concepts for no reason. Sabotaged that whole game. And we were deadlocked with Baltimore to try to get into a playoff seeding. End up losing to them, and then it was over. Because we beat Baltimore. We had already won on a 5-game win streak, so beat Baltimore. We're in front of them, right behind Indy. And they lose out, so we're right there with the Chargers, which, we saw what happened. Houston basically took it, so we weren't going to get it no way. But we would have had false hope going into the last 2 games of the season, hoping that we can damn get in the door. And then Cincinnati coming in and beat the brakes off us. Following the Pittsburgh game, Cincinnati came into the crib and beat the hell out of us with Quinn Ewers. But all they talked about was that 63-yard bum. And it wasn't even a deep throw. He threw it where what's his name? Not Carlton Davis. Antoine Whitfield Jr. basically jumped the Darren Waller underneath. And Theo Weiss ran right by him. And that's what Quinn Ewers threw it. After he looked off Waller, he threw it right to Weiss, which is right in front of or right beside Antoine Whitfield Jr., who caught it and kept going. If Antoine Whitfield Jr. played Weiss, that's an interception. But because he followed Ewers' eyes, which credit to Ewers, your eyes will lead the defender to where you want him to go. He faked him out with the eyes and threw it. He looked down that way and threw it straight ahead. Smart play. Very smart play. But we've seen Tua do the same thing with his eyes. But he don't get credit for that. He doesn't get any credit because it don't make any sense to credit him. It makes sense to credit the rookie. But do you really think Ewers can handle an entire season of ups and downs? No, because the fan base will eat his ass up. He's not built to deal with that. And he may not control himself at the podium the way he's supposed to after maybe a tough loss or whatever it is. That's why I said I question a lot of people's like judgment on this because I mean Tyreek getting cut or Tyreek being released shouldn't should not warrant what happened. It shouldn't. But once and again, we're dealing with this BS for no reason. It's like if you hate Tua that much in hell, you should get a go to a different fan base because he's not the worst quarterback in the league by far. He had the worst season, yes, but he still threw more touchdowns and picks. As much as people hate him, he had 20 touchdowns to 15 picks. That's facts. So you can get mad about what he did, but you can't deny that he doesn't throw more interceptions than touchdowns. He doesn't do that. Justin Fields will do that. Geno Smith has done that. But it's gonna be very, very interesting next season to see how Jeff Halfley how he handles it because he has a lot he has to do. And I'm almost certain that he thought long and hard about releasing Tyreek. But I'm sure Eric Sullivan probably told him it's time to move on from Reek. Because let's be real, Reek is limited with his height. It's not his fault, but he's a limited receiver. If he can't get by you with that first initial step and that burst, well, we saw what happened. When you get physical with him, we saw what happens. So people got to stop living this damn fantasy about, oh, well, Reek is still dynamic. I truly believe he is, but I also understand what his limitation is. I also get the fact why many teams play cover two against him because it's very hard to get over the top on the cover two. Unless one of those safeties go to sleep back there or they come down to support the run, then you're not really getting over the top on the cover two at all. You can try all you want to. I play college football. I played a lot of guys that play cover two. That shit is hard because the DB, the corner is gonna be at least 10 yards off. You got to get by him first, and the safety's already 15, 20 yards back. So you got to get by him in a full sprint. He's already going to take off running with you. So you're not really going to get by him. You're really not going to get by him. Which is why the best way to get people out of cover two is to run the ball. Because then the safeties will have to come down. One safety will come down and support while the other one stays in the middle of the field. Then he got to play outfield. He got to choose which side he's going to go to. Because if he stays in the middle, the quarterback can eat you alive. Because not only can I throw a post route behind you, I can throw a corner, I can cross your face, I can throw deep post routes. I can do a lot to you if you're in the center of the field because you gotta make a decision. I could throw a goal ball to either side. If I pick a side, if I run all goals, you gotta pick which defender you're gonna get, and it can't be all of them. So it's a lot that goes into defensive schematics and schemes and stuff. There you go, buddy. But the fan base got to quit this stuff, man. It don't make no sense to do this. It really don't make no sense to go after him like that because what is it going to prove? If anything, he's not going to get cut today. He's not going to get released today. We don't know if he's going to get released for June 1st. We don't know. But I got a gut feeling that Tua's going to still be on the roster after June 1st. He's still going to be a Miami Dolphin. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. But I got a gut feeling they're not going to move on from Tua because they're going to start to see what a lot of people do see in him. But he wasn't given the opportunity to be built, to be given the opportunity to be given an opportunity of an organization building around him. That's what I was trying to say. Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love, all those guys, Drake May, all those guys. Well, Drake May is a bad example because his offensive line sucks, but his coach built around him. Sam Darnold, when he went to Seattle, it was already built for him to just do what you do, succeed. He went to Minnesota, succeed. Baker Mayfield is another example. He went to Tampa Bay, he succeeded. But in Cleveland, they built around him. They had a nice offensive line. They had a really, really dynamic running game. They had a nice tight end. They had decent receivers for him. You can go to the Rams. Matthew Stafford, when he came in the door, the team was already built for success. So a lot of this rumbling about Tua, does he make any sense until the fan base accepts the fact that their management and their organization did a terrible job with this kid. For 6 years, he had to fight for everything. He got McDaniel. McDaniel did revive his confidence. I'm not gonna sit here and say he didn't. But let's be real. How many times did McDaniel call stupid ass plays in the game? How many times did he abandon the run? How many times did he put Tua in uncompromising situations? How many times? And then he'd get on the podium and basically chastise him. When you call the play, right? So if you call up and execute it, you know what the play design was, and you know against a defense it might not work, but you called it anyway. But that's my fault because I put the ball in harm's way. Not gonna debate that. Maybe next time design the play a little bit better, especially if we're gonna get basically a cover two. Every now and then, every blue moon we got a cover three look, but majority of the time it was cover two. But I had to get on this live, man, because just even hearing that like irked my nerve. Because it's like, so what's the point of you going after Tua? His limitation is his athleticism, but that's not something that bothers me. Because his greatest weapon is his mind. His arm is something they question too, but hell, you don't need a cannon to succeed in this league. You don't need a cannon. Dan Marino's one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history, but he did not win a Super Bowl ring. He had a goddamn monster cannon arm. Man had a damn bazooka on his shoulder, but didn't equate to much postseason success. It did not get him a ring. So I don't care if they continue to call Tua a soft arm, noodle arm, whatever. He can get the job done. He can make those throws in the playoffs because in the playoffs the field shortens. You're not throwing a 60, 70-yard go ball. You're not. You got to methodically move that team down the field, either get a touchdown or put them in field goal range to keep points going on their board. He can do that. He don't have to extend plays with his legs. He can just use his arm. And I'm perfectly okay with that. I've never been a fan of running quarterbacks because I've seen too many times what it does. I've seen too many people get injured. I don't care for it. At all, I really don't care for it. Jalen Hurts is one of the guys that I hate the most because all he do is run out to the right and try to throw it. In the instance of the game I play, most time I run out to the right. But I look to throw it to somebody, but because they're gonna bring the route with me, or I'll step up in the pocket and move around a little bit and then I get the ball off. But to just run like to go get a first down, I don't care about that for real unless I absolutely have to do it. But in college compared to the pros, the field is wide open. So you're running for 20, 30 yards. NFL, you got maybe a 5 yard buffer for that defender that linebacker catches you, because he's running a 4-4. So you're not really going to outrun him if you run slower than him. He's gonna catch it to you real quick. But that was my rant because I had to do it. I had to get it out of my system on this live, but appreciate you guys for listening. Like I said, I really don't see him getting released. I still think he'll be on the roster after June 1st. And we're going to see what Halfley does, because if you cut Tua over the coming months, who are you going to replace him with? And don't say the draft, because they don't know what those quarterbacks are going to be like. They're just hoping they can get a diamond in the rough. But if you make it open competition, everybody get open reps, fine. Not arguing with that. I want to see how Tua handles the competition, which I know he can handle it. I know he can handle it. I know he can get the offensive scheme they're going to come in with. So that part I'm not worried about. I just want him to get a fair shake at having a team that's built to succeed. Not a team that's built with duct tape and damn super glue. As long as he get a fair shake, I'm fine. Hey, if he loses out to yours or whoever, fine. But if he rightfully beats whoever they bring in, Malik Willis, whoever the hell that may be, whoever's next, if he beats them all out, I don't want to hear another goddamn word. It's not a favoritism thing. It's about putting the best player on the field that's gonna help you win. And truthfully, I believe Tua can lead any offense on the field and go get you scores. Go put you in critical positions to get you first downs and touchdowns, or or a game-winning field goal to win the game. Every game is not going to result in a touchdown. Like the Dallas Cowboys game, he did get us down the field to get that field goal to win the game. People don't want to give him credit, but he did do it. It's like real football fans know what it is. The ones that live in fallacy and fantasy, all they care about is touchdowns. That's not how football works. Sometimes you're not gonna cross that goal line. Sometimes it just takes a field goal. Sometimes it takes you wanting it more than the next person. And I believe that he will now cross that territory where he will want it more than anybody else, and we will see that. But that's it, man. I mean, I appreciate the ones who did pop in on this live. I mean, I think I'm gonna do a video regarding more cuts when they do occur, because I know they're not done making moves yet. So we're gonna see what happens. I'm actually pleased with what's going on so far. I can see that Eric Sullivan is sticking to his word. He's out there. He's making transitions happen. He's making moves to improve the roster, and I appreciate that. Leave that alone. So I'm grateful for what I'm seeing. I'm hoping we'll get more, more in depth as we go along, but we will see. But with that being said, guys, I gotta go because I gotta go eat, and yeah. But you guys have a blessed Monday. Peace.